The Filipino man, sponsored by George W. Bush, as a boy has described how letters from the former United States president helped him to become successful and happy. Out of so many kids, I was the one picked. Timothy V. Lobach told the TV network ABS-CBN, adding that Mr. Bush had supplied him with gifts, such as a drawing set that fit his creativity. Mr. Bush, under the name George Walker, also helped with the education and meals. Mr. V. Lobach, now aged 25, was just 7 when the sponsorship started. He learned his Compassion International sponsor's true identity when he left the scheme at 17 and was stunned. In an interview with ABS-CBN, Mr. V. Lobach said he found it shocking that he was indeed a president, adding, "I cannot explain how I am feeling." Mr. V. Lobach, who is now married with a young daughter, said he remembers receiving a set of pens and watercolor paints from Mr. Bush after mentioning his love of drawing and sketching. "I loved the set because it was big. I showed it off at school," he said. He added that he was aware he was really lucky and that he hoped the charity would continue to help others. The former president wrote a number of letters that included occasional hints as to his true identity. "Dear Timothy, I want to be your new pen pal," Mr. Bush said in his first letter in 2002, using the pseudonym, a combination of his first and third names. "I am an old man, 77 years old, but I love kids, and though we have not met, I love you already. Here, I live in Texas. I will write you from time to time. Good luck." Later, Mr. Bush wrote, "Timothy, have you ever heard of the White House? That's where the President of the United States of America lives. I got to go to the White House at Christmas time. Here is a little booklet that I got at the White House in Washington." Mr. Bush, the 41st Street United States President, died in November at the age of 94. Compassion International is a Christian, humanitarian charity that helps children living in poverty. Sponsoring a child through the organization helps to fund medical care, education and mentoring sessions, and also offers a personal connection through correspondence. The former president first learned about his child sponsorship scheme in 2001 during a Christmas concert in Washington. It is thought his identity was kept secret because of concerns that Mr. V. Lobach, as a boy, could be targeted if people learned he was corresponding with the former United States president. The charity reviewed some of the letters to the Colorado Springs Gazette and later in an interview with CNN. The United States military says it has killed 62 fighters from the Islamist group Al-Shabaab in 6 airstrikes in Somalia. 4 airstrikes on Saturday killed 32 militants, and a further 2 on Sunday killed 28. It said in a statement, "These were the deadliest air attacks in Somalia since November 2017, when the United States said it had killed 100 militants." Somalia has seen a sharp increase in the number of airstrikes and casualties since President Donald Trump took office in the United States in January 2017. A tally by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism reveals that at least 400 people have been killed in airstrikes since the beginning of 2017, far more than the previous 10 years combined. The latest strikes bring to at least 40 the number carried out in Somalia so far this year, compared with 35 recorded in 2017. The United States has a huge military base in neighboring Djibouti, from where it launches attacks on the militants. Mr. Trump gave the United States military greater authority in March 2017 to attack militants in Somalia. Traditionally, United States presidents have been wary of intervening in Somalia since ATN Special Forces soldiers died fighting militias in the capital Mogadishu in 1993, a battle dramatized in the film Black Hawk Down. No civilians were killed in the latest airstrikes, which were carried out in coordination with the Somali government, the United States military said. Alongside our Somali and international partners, we are committed to preventing Al-Shabaab from taking advantage of safe havens from which they can build capacity and attack the people of Somalia, the United States Africa Command said. Al-Shabaab, which is linked to Al-Qaeda, has not yet commented on the latest strikes. Somalia-based security think tank the Higher Institute said in a report published in November that Al-Shabaab had been forced to change tactics following the upsurge in airstrikes. The institute said the group was now conducting fewer mass attacks on military bases, but attacks on government offices and businesses which refused to pay its taxes had increased markedly. The United States State Department, in its most recent report on terrorism, described Somalia as a terrorist safe haven, and said Al-Shabaab remained a threat. Despite suffering setbacks, the group retained control over large parts of the country, and the ability to carry out high-profile attacks using suicide bombers, explosive devices, mortars, and small arms. The report added, a popular tourist attraction has become the latest Chinese company to show solidarity with Huawei's chief finance officer, Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Canada on 1 December. Shannon Mountain Scenic Park, in eastern Hainan province said it would waive the $9.65 ticket fee for anyone carrying a Huawei phone. Ms. Mann, who was given bail in Canada, faces extradition to the United States on charges of breaking Iran sanctions. Her case has upped tensions with China. Use Huawei phones. Shoot grand photos on the mountain. A notice on the Shannon Park's social media account said, "We wish friends around the world who support Huawei's success and bliss." The offer would last until 29 December, the South China Morning Post reported. But it was met with some criticism among China's social media users, who claimed it was discriminatory. Huawei phone owners are being offered other enticements too. They can get a 20% discount at a bar in Beijing. Seen in Beijing, bring a Huawei phone and get 20% off. Similar to this story we covered yesterday, https://QXL19YPQLPIC. Twitter.com Sokolov. End of Twitter post by @LuOceanG. At least one firm has threatened to penalize anyone buying Apple products. A few days ago, Manpad Shenzhen-based LED display manufacturer offered subsidies to any employees buying Huawei phones. It also pledged to fine anyone who bought an Apple iPhone. United States prosecutors alleged Ms. Mann, 46, used a Huawei subsidiary called Skycom to evade sanctions on Iran between 2009 and 2014. They also alleged she publicly misrepresented Skycom as being a separate company from Huawei, and that she deceived banks about the true relationship between the two companies. Ms. Mann, who is the daughter of Huawei's founder, has denied any wrongdoing and said she will contest the allegations. Life of Huawei's high-flying heiress. The United States has been investigating the Chinese telecom giant, the world's second-largest smartphone maker, since 2016, believing that it used Skycom to bring United States manufacturing equipment and millions of dollars in transactions to Iran in violation of sanctions. Ms. Mann's detention comes amid an increasingly acrimonious trade dispute between Washington and Beijing. China is angry at her detention, saying she has not violated any laws. Beijing has threatened severe consequences unless Canada releases the executive. Since her arrest, 2 Canadians, a former diplomat and a businessman, have been detained in China on suspicion of harming national security. United States President Donald Trump said last week that he might intervene in the United States Justice Department's case against this man if it would serve national security interests. I'll help achieve a trade deal with China if I think it's good for what will be certainly the largest trade deal ever made, which is a very important thing. What's good for national security? I would certainly intervene if I thought it was necessary, he told Reuters news agency.